We're going to try to get through 3 rounds if we can, but before we get started, we'll go through 1 round of a little warm-up, and then I'll let you know when we're starting our Tabata. Same thing as last time, strength, stability, maybe a little bit more cardio today just because it's Tabata. We'll have 15 seconds to rest in between rounds and then 45 seconds for each round of work. Before we get started, I'll walk you through a warm-up and hopefully everything makes sense to people. We're gonna start with 30 butt kickers. So you can either do butt kickers here, just standing, or you can do running in place, 30 times. Good. After you get through your butt kickers, we're going to do high knees. So same thing, you can either be in place or you can do them running in place. Very nice. And then ankle taps. Ankle taps you can do also running in place if you want to, or just standing in place. 30 of those. And then our last warm-up movement, we're gonna go half kneeling to step up. So we're here in a half kneeling position, and then we're gonna step up into a low squat. 30 times, so 15 on each side. Stay nice and low in your squat when you come up, and keep the core turned on. Tucking the pelvis, not letting the butt flare as you come here. 30 total. Alternating legs or doing 15 on one side and then 15 on the other. Whatever's comfortable for you. Once you get through those, grabbing some water if you need it. And then we're going to start with our Tabata. Excuse me. As we go through, I will walk you through what exercise we're doing in our rest period. So I'll be talking to you while you're taking 15 minutes to rest in between each round of work. Wait till everyone's finished, no rush at all. All right, I am going to start the timer in about 20 seconds. Our first exercise is going to be plank hops, so I'll just walk you through that before we get going. You're here in a high plank position. Hopefully everyone can see me, and you're just hopping here, similar to the way that we would in yoga. Core is nice and tight, in and out. They seem easy at first, but they definitely catch up to you once we get to about 30 seconds. All right, going in 10.
Starting your Tabata workout. Get ready.
3, 2, 1, let's work.
Exercise.
If these are too difficult for you or hurt for some reason, you can hold a high plank position. Pulling the shoulder blades apart, keeping the core nice and tight. Ten more seconds. If you need to rest early on any of these movements, that's totally fine. Then we're going to chair pose, step back. So you're here in a chair pose, alternating legs, stepping back. Staying nice and low in your chair pose. And go. You need to use your arms for stability. You can put them out in front of you. Keep the chest dropped, core turned on. Trying to keep your weight in the heel of the working leg here. Breathing deeply. That will get you through each round. Your breath is so powerful. Should feel a little bit of a burn in your glutes. Only 3 seconds left.
Rest.
Good. Then we are going into side plank pulses. So we will switch in between the round to the other side. You're here in a side plank, everything in line, pulsing. If you need to go off the knees, that's totally fine. Keeping everything in line, tuck the pelvis, keep the core turned on, check in that the elbow is in line with the shoulder. Nice vertical line between the elbow and the shoulder. Don't let the chest fall forward here. One straight line from head to toe. And switch.
Rest.
Very nice, guys. Our next exercise is a squat with lunge. So in between each squat, we're going to lunge, alternating the side that we lunge on each time.
Exercise.
Keeping the core nice and tight. If you're unstable, widen your stance. So the leg that you're stepping back with, just step a little bit wider if you need more stability. But really thinking about your core is what's going to help you with balance here. And if you want to drop the arms and bring them back together as you squat, that's fine too.
Rest.
Very nice work, guys. And then we're doing knee push-ups with a knee drive. So we're doing push-ups off the knees. And as you come down into your push-up, you're bringing one leg up.
Exercise.
If that's too difficult, just do regular push-ups off the knees here. But this is to help challenge the obliques and avoid letting that leg push you to one side. Staying nice and even with the ground. Chest, core, everything is square to the floor. Don't have to come all the way down, just to where you feel the challenge, and then pressing back up. Good work, guys. 10 more seconds.
Rest.
Next movement is ab boat touches. So you're either here, just doing regular boat and squeezing together, or touching together as you come up.
Exercise.
Alternating sides. 45 seconds here. Like I said, anytime that anyone needs to take a break, go into child's pose, just breathe. This is for you. Feel no pressure to stay up with us. Everyone is at different places. You might be tired today. If you are, good work for making it here. Any amount of movement that you get in is good, dependent on what energy you have today. Good work.
Rest.
Our next movement is 1.5 squats. So we're here, coming into a squat and then pulsing one time at the bottom in between each one. Normal squat stance, toes angled out a little bit, weight in the heels, being mindful that knees are not coming in or out. They're staying in line with the toes. This pulse at the bottom really encourages the glute to fire up a little bit more. Otherwise, we can, in our squats, get lazy and it puts a lot of pressure on the low back. But these are really good for keeping your form, especially for people that usually go to the gym and can't right now. Even if you're not doing any weighted squats, just doing the movement itself is so important for your muscle memory. Good work, guys.
Rest.
If anyone needs to rest here, please. We have 2 more movements and then we're resting. So right now we're doing a broad jump with a squat at the end of each one. Turning around, jumping as far as you can, squatting in between each one. Get nice and low before you jump to help you with the power and explosion. So essentially doing a squat before you jump as well. If these are too difficult, you can always do squats in place or whatever movement you feel like you need today. 10 more seconds. Really nice work, guys. Our last movement is either a plank or bear hold. 45 seconds, either here in bear, pulling shoulder blades apart, knees about 1 inch off the floor, or
Exercise.
as we all know and love, plank for 45 seconds. Pulling everything together. The glutes and thighs are helping you as well here. Not all the pressure on the abs. Keep a nice neutral neck. Elbows in line with the shoulders. Squeezing everything together. It's only 20 more seconds. Good work, guys. Breathing deeply. Pulling everything together. And time. We have 2 minutes of rest, and then we are going again.
Workout pause.
Grab water, breathe deeply. That replenishes all the cells with oxygen. And that is our gas for our workout.
Workout reset.
Heart is pumping. We're feeling warm, hopefully a little bit sweaty. Love to see all your beautiful faces. Give you guys about another 30 seconds of recovery, and then we will go again. "15 seconds.
Are we doing the same thing over again?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
2 more times. "5 seconds. I'm starting the timer and it will give us 10 seconds to prepare.
Starting your Tabata workout. Get ready.
Starting again with our plank hops. If those are too difficult, just holding a high plank.
Exercise.
Squeezing the core the whole time. Hopefully you didn't drink too much water. I feel mine moving around in my tummy. 10 more seconds, guys.
Rest.
Going back to our chair pose with step backs. Staying nice and low in our chair pose, core is turned on. Feet about hip width distance apart. Tucking the pelvis. If you have a problem with arching your low back, keeping the weight in the heel, not letting the chest drop forward too much. Staying nice and low in our chair pose, but still maintaining that upright chest. If you need to use your hands for stability, wherever's comfortable for you, please do. Ten seconds.
Rest.
Side plank pulses in 10 seconds. Like I said, either off the knees here or into a full side plank.
Exercise.
Switching at the halfway mark. And switch. Really nice work, guys. Keep deep breathing. So important we don't forget about our breath. Then we're going to squats with a lunge in between each squat. 5 seconds. And go.
Exercise.
Alternating the leg that you squat with each time, or lunge with each time. Being mindful of your knees, tucking the pelvis, using the core for stability. Good work, guys.
Rest.
Beautiful. 15 seconds of rest, and we're going to knee push-ups with our knee drive up, which is, of course, optional. Push-ups off the knees, alternating the knee that you drive up in between.
Exercise.
Try to keep the elbows in, nice and close to the chest if possible. That works the triceps a little bit more. Keeping a nice neutral neck, not letting the head drop as you come down. Really challenging. The obliques. If you need to take a break, please do.
Rest.
Ab boat touches. Alternating legs that we touch behind each time. As you come up, tapping behind the knee.
Exercise.
Keeping the core nice and tight. The height of your legs changes how difficult it is too. So if you're keeping the legs higher, and really stretching out the legs all the way. Each time you come down here, that's gonna make it harder. Keeping the knees more bent takes off a little bit of the pressure. 10 more seconds. You may feel it a little bit in the thighs too.
Rest.
That's totally normal. Then we have 1.5 squats. So doing a pulse in between each squat. If you're a little tired and want to do a squat hold for 45 seconds, that's totally fine as well.
Exercise.
Keeping the core nice and tight, nice neutral neck, weight in the heels. Really be mindful that you're not arching your low back here. Deep breaths. 10 more seconds.
Rest.
Time. Second to last movement here, broad jumps with a squat in between.
Exercise.
This explosive part is where we get all the work done. Almost there, guys. Last time. And then our last movement, either our bear hold or our plank. Once again, bear hold here, about 1 inch off the knees, pulling the shoulder blades apart, or your plank. And go.
Exercise.
Using all your big major muscles, the glutes, the thighs, hamstrings, pulling shoulder blades apart, not dropping the neck, but also not letting shoulders come up to the ears here. So drawing shoulder blades down and back, staying nice and long. Use your breath. If you need to drop down to the knees, that's totally fine.
Rest.
Really nice work, guys. Give you 2 minutes again. 90 seconds to 2 minutes. And then we'll go one more time. For some people, that might be plenty. And that's totally fine.
Exercise.
If you want to continue,
Workout pause.
stick with us and just do abs. That's totally fine. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a cool down once we get through this round if we have time. Otherwise, I'll just ask you to take a lap around the driveway or something like that. But we're going to try and get through one more round. Grab water, breathe deeply. This last round is really our opportunity to challenge ourselves. Not to say that those 2 rounds weren't difficult. This one's going to be the biggest challenge. Another 30 seconds or minute or so. Sometimes this recovery time doesn't seem necessary, but if you really pay attention to how fast your heart rate slows and the time that your lungs need to fill up with air and recover, it's important. Let's take another 30 seconds or so and then we'll go again. See some people stretching, Stretch out whatever you feel like is tight before we do our last round.
Workout reset.
I'm gonna start the timer now and we'll get going in 10 seconds
Starting your Tabata
on
workout.
our plank
Get ready.
hops. Like I said, anytime you need to rest in this round, please do.
Exercise.
Keep the core nice and tight. Last time through all of these movements, keep that in mind and give it all you have. 5 seconds. Chair pose, step backs in 10 seconds. Getting nice and deep in our chair here.
Exercise.
Keeping the core turned on. Stay mindful of the low back. Keep the chest upright. Don't let it drop as you get tired. Beautiful. 10 more seconds.
Rest.
Nice work. Then into our side plank pulses. In 5 seconds. Remember, we will switch halfway.
Exercise.
Trying to keep your straight line from head to toe. If you need to bring one foot out in front of you, I didn't mention that, that's fine. Or you can go off the knees. And switch. Sorry, I was a little bit late on that.
Rest.
Good work, guys. Then we have squats with a lunge in between. Going in 5.
Exercise.
Deep breaths. Keep the core turned on. Ten seconds.
Rest.
Beautiful. Going into our knee push-ups with a knee drive on each one, alternating sides. If you want to do regular knee push-ups, that's fine, or whatever movement feels good to you right now.
Exercise.
Keeping the elbows in nice and close.
Rest.
Good work. Those are really challenging. Then we have boat touches. So in our boat position here, touching behind the knee.
Exercise.
Keeping the core nice and tight. Deep breaths, guys. We are almost at the end. Try to finish it out strong. If you've come all this way, it's likely you can finish it out. Only 5 seconds.
Rest.
Beautiful. Then we have 1.5 squats. So in between our full squats, doing a little pulse at the bottom of each one. 5 seconds. Grab water if you need it, no rush.
Exercise.
Try to really think about feeling your glutes turn on in the bottom. Shouldn't be too much pressure on the low back. If it is, don't come so low down in your squat. Ten seconds, guys. We have 3 movements after this, and then we are finished.
Rest.
Chair pose, touch backs. As deep as you can in your chair, alternating the leg that you touch back with.
Exercise.
Not letting the chest fall, weight in the heels, keeping the core nice and tight, using your breath as your power.
Rest.
Second to last movement, we have broad jumps. If you need to squat in place, you can jump squat, you can just do bodyweight squats, or the full movement 1 time through. Last time.
Exercise.
These kinds of movements are really good for maintaining bone density. Any kind of hop that you can do where you have impact that's not repetitive, like running, can be a little bit hard on the joints. But if you can do stuff like this every once in a while, even if they're just little jumps, really good for you. Three seconds. Last movement, guys. We're here. Plank or bear hold, up to you. 45 seconds. And go.
Exercise.
Keeping the core nice and tight. Squeeze everything together. Be mindful of the neck. Try to keep it neutral. Seconds.
Rest.
And time. Really nice work, guys. That was a great challenge. I have a little bit of cool down for you guys if you'd like it.
Workout paused.
If that's all you needed for today, please feel free to do whatever you need to do. But for a cool down, let's see what we have. Okay, first movement. I'm gonna move my, you guys can see me a little better that way. So we're gonna go low lunge into forward fold. So we're just gonna be here, you can be off the knees or you can be in a high lunge. And then you're just gonna alternate coming back and then flexing the toes here, keeping the hips in line, not letting one hip come out to the side, keeping the pelvis nice and neutral, and then dropping the head as far as you can. Just alternating back and forth about 5 or 6 times on each side. Really stretching here, the hamstrings, and then feeling it up into the low back here. But it should feel good. It shouldn't be anything too intense. If it is, just back off a little bit. Don't come quite so low. Switch sides. Also, when you're in this forward position, you'll feel the stretch in the front of the quad here. So you're both stretching out the quad on one side and the hamstring on the other. Also, if you can, think about keeping the chest high, not dropping here, but when we're tired, it's understandable. Just cooling down here. 1 or 2 times, on the other side. And then, let's see, Spider-Man stretch. So we're here in a low lunge position. When I do them, I bring my knee off the ground, same as we would be in the yoga, low lunge that most of us are familiar with, and then just getting hip circles here. I have both my hands on the inside of the other leg, doing hip circles in both directions. This really opens up the hip capsule, stretches out that front of the pelvis that gets really tight when we sit a lot. And then I like to add a reach with the inside arm. So the arm that's in between the foot and the outside hand, I reach out and up to open up the chest 3 or 4 times. And then switching to the other side, getting hip circles on that side, in both directions. And then adding the reach with the inside arm, reaching out and up. Try to be mindful that your ankle is in line with your knee when you're doing stuff like this to protect the knees. And the last movement I have for cool down is adductor rock backs. So I'm sitting on one heel here. These toes are pointed out to the side. My legs out to the side, toes are pointed up to the ceiling. When I'm here, I'm dropping my chest to the floor as low as I can. The more I can drop the chest, the more I'll feel a stretch in my hamstring. And then I'm coming up, I'm walking my hands forward. As I come forward, you'll see my back leg there is straightening. My toes are coming down to the floor. They're staying flexed though. And when I come forward, I'm pressing the quad of this leg into the floor, feeling a stretch in that quad, drawing shoulder blades down and back here. I'm gonna alternate in between those 2 positions. Just rocking back and forth, bringing the chest as low as you can in the back position, and then drawing shoulder blades down and back as you come forward. Keeping the toes flexed the whole time, and then I'm gonna switch sides. Sitting on the one heel, toes are flexed, dropping the chest down to the floor, and then walking hands forward, drawing shoulder blades down and back, keeping the toes flexed. Feeling a deep stretch in the hamstring and the inner thigh. And then the quad, you'll feel a stretch if you drive that knee of the leg that's back into the ground when you're forward. All right, that is all I have for you guys today. Everyone did an amazing job. That was quite a challenge for me as well. So I thank you for doing it with me because I wouldn't have gotten through as much as I did